A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant diplomatic rift, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that South Africa will not be invited to the upcoming G20 summit scheduled to take place in Miami, Florida next year. The announcement comes in the wake of South Africa's refusal to hand over the G20 presidency to a U.S. embassy representative during last week's summit held in Johannesburg. President Trump took to social media to express his dissatisfaction, stating, "Therefore, at my direction, South Africa will not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20. The G20, which comprises some of the world's largest economies, traditionally does not require formal invitations for member countries, but can impose visa restrictions that effectively bar participation." South Africa's presidential spokesman, Vincent Magwenya, stated that the country must now accept that the relationship with the U.S. will not be reset, despite efforts to mend ties. He emphasized the importance of collaboration with other G20 members to maintain momentum on key issues discussed at the Johannesburg summit. The backdrop of this diplomatic spat is Trump's controversial claims regarding the treatment of white Afrikaners in South Africa. He has repeatedly alleged that there is a violent persecution of this demographic, a claim that the South African government has vehemently rejected as unfounded and lacking credible evidence. In a statement, President Ramaphosa expressed regret over the U.S.'s decision, noting that the country was expected to participate in the G20 meetings but chose not to attend. The tensions escalated further when Trump declared a halt to all payments and subsidies to South Africa, asserting that the country had demonstrated it was not worthy of membership in international forums. This declaration has drawn criticism from South African officials, who called for solidarity among G20 nations to uphold the integrity of the group and protect the rights of all member states. The Johannesburg summit, which was historic as the first G20 meeting held on African soil, concluded with a joint declaration focusing on multilateral cooperation on climate change and economic inequality. However, the absence of a U.S. delegation meant that the American perspective was notably absent from discussions, particularly regarding climate initiatives that the Trump administration has openly opposed. As the U.S. assumes the rotating presidency of the G20, the implications of South Africa's exclusion remain to be seen. The symbolic handover of the G20 presidency, traditionally marked by the passing of a wooden gavel, was marred by the absence of a senior U.S. official to receive it. Instead, South Africa handed over the G20 presidency to a U.S. embassy representative, which Trump viewed as an affront. In response to Trump's assertions, South African officials have reiterated their commitment to addressing misinformation about the country and fostering positive international relations. They have called for a focus on cooperation with other G20 members to advance shared interests and objectives. The ongoing diplomatic tensions between the U.S. and South Africa highlight the complexities of international relations, particularly in the context of historical grievances and contemporary political narratives. As the situation develops, the future of U.S.-South Africa relations remains uncertain, with both nations navigating a landscape shaped by differing perspectives on governance, human rights, and international cooperation. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.